First of all, hi, Reggie Whitley here. You knew who it was, though. You knew. Don't play. You know me. And I am here with the bobblehead herself, Shontal Bobblehead Brown.
Call me a bobblehead again. Show ratchet tail.
And the people are going to see.
I just want to bring a new shift in the room. You know what I'm saying? Because these types of discussions here, it be having me going.
We look autumny, Shontal. We look very fall in the winter.
Yeah. I'm feeling it. I don't know why I'm cool.
I'm a little warm. Because we try to dress for the season because hopefully it's cold outside. Because we never know these days. But then I think about it like we be wearing hoodies and stuff, and we be in the house.
Yeah.
And it don't be cold in the house. We try to dress for it, but oh gosh, how do the people do it? So we are here to talk about an interesting topic. It's one that I think we've talked about a few times, just because y'all know, for those of you who don't know, we actually talk outside of the podcast. And we were talking about on a few different occasions, I think being single as far as what is considered single. There's a lot of stuff that's in the media about being single versus being in a relationship versus dating versus married. And there's a lot of different viewpoints on it as far as some think that you're single until you get married. Some think that you're single until you start dating. Some think that you're single until you get engaged. Some people think when you're dating, you can date multiple people. So there's a lot of different viewpoints, a lot of different perspectives on it. And so we're here to really shine some light on what is considered single. Are you single until what? What do you think? Are you single until you're married? So she says you're single until you're married. So why do you think that?
And I'm going to say this. It really ain't that for me. It's the TikTok video we seen that I sent you. It was so funny because, it was hilarious. She went on through that thing with breaking down why you single. And for me, it's this kind of person for me because I wrote the book Unwedded Wife. And Unwedded Wife basically is what is leading up to this. We got to really define the definition of single. Single for me is, I'm going to just say, if I'm dating single, I'm single. Like, I'm single. I'm not dating nobody. I wasn't talking to nobody. Like, I'm single. I can do what I want to do. Like, there's nothing to me other than nothing but me. I'm single. I can conversate with this person. I can conversate with that person. Whatever. But when she said you single until you get married, I was hilarious. I was just blown away because I remember one time, and when I was young. It was in my 20s or early 20s or whatever. And I remember I was living in Texas and I came home to visit and I seen one of my friends, my old friend. And he was dating someone. I was in a committed relationship. And so the thing with him was he was, with someone. Both of us was in a relationship. But for me, by me being in that space, it was like we didn't want to be seen together because if we were seen together, somebody run back and say, "Oh, he cheats. She, this is or whatever." And so the mama was like, "Is y'all married?" And I was like, "No." And she said, "So you ain't married?" And he dang sure ain't married. You ain't cheating until it ain't considered cheating unless you're married. I was blown away. It was hilarious. So I started looking at that in the early age of, that is true in a sense. But it's more of a respect thing for me. So single to me is I'm a You ain't single till you married. Even in a committed relationship. Like I'm not finna do everything I have did it, but if I knew then what I knew now, I would have not did some of the things that I did. Like calling them husband when he was my husband. Calling them, changing my last name to his last name on an email address, or all that dumb stuff we do, get accounts together, a bank accounts, adding them to my bank account. And it just, it's really crazy what we women do. You call them husband, but you ain't even got a ring on. You ain't even engaged. I wasn't even engaged. So with that being said, it's like, mm, that's how the unwedded came along. I opened up my eyes to the point where I had to get some more glass. You see what I'm saying? And look at it in another version. But single to me is nothing. You ain't got no attention. Nothing.
So, and then you said something. So, is this a woman issue? Because you said us women, and I'd never thought about. So then I started thinking, have I really seen men say wifey and it ain't their wife? Not
I
to
have.
my record. Have you?
I have. It's not. It hadn't been that many, but I'm gonna say it's the ones that trying to get over. You know, I think it's the ones that Y'all excuse me for taking off these glasses. We just act like this.
We
We
just,
just us. Yeah, it's
you know,
we just talking.
no
So,
professionality. It's just not in us. I'm sitting here Googling on my phone while she talking, so I have to talk about it. That's where we
so
at now.
but it's like I have seen it. It just depends on the category the man want to put the woman in. If they engaged, I ain't gonna say if they just staying together, baby mama. No, I ain't never seen it. But if they engaged, I have seen men call women, instead of fiance, oh, that's my wife here, And I look at it like they practicing trying to get ready for the day of, or who's to say? You know what I'm saying?
Excited, just excited.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at, and so I was thinking, you know, opinions, which of
Mm-hmm.
course this is an opinionated show because we come with our opinions. But I said, let me see if there's something like stamped, And so the first thing that I thought of, well, let's go to some tax forms, right? When you file your taxes, like your 1040, it doesn't have single, dating, engaged, married. It's like single, married. I think it's like single, married but filed separately. Head of household. I don't really know what that is.
Right. You
And
in the right
then
direction.
widow. Don't say nothing about dating. So it goes straight from single to married to widow or widower.
No single
Um,
committed long term relationship, ain't none of that.
and then I work for insurance. And so when I look on people's policies, so we get people started and stuff, nothing in the documentation says anything other than single, married, divorced. Even if you own a policy with your boyfriend or with your girlfriend, guess what we have to put? I get people to call up like, "That's my girl. What is this relation to you? That's my girlfriend. That's my fiance." Guess what I got to put? Other relation, because there's nothing there. That ain't your wife. That ain't your husband. Other relation. You know, I mean, I have people that go down. We've been married. I mean, we've been together for 15 years. We engaged. We married. He finally proposed. We got our date. Getting married to 223. Be so excited. I'd be like, "Oh, what other relation?" You know what I'm saying? Because that's what. So, uh, you just
I
other
never looked
relation.
at it that way.
That's literally what it say. There is no category for nothing outside of we have. It's just your
Other
parent,
relation.
your child, your spouse, and if you don't fall in that other relation, I mean, literally brother, other relation, like just kick to the curb. Um, so that's the same boat as if this is just your friend, if this is just your roommate, y'all don't even know each
Mm-hmm.
other, but y'all in the policy together because we should do a show, I think, talking about car insurance because a lot of people don't understand it. But even if you got a roommate and you don't even know them, y'all live in the same apartment together, y'all just share rent, y'all met online to help with bills and stuff, you still should be on the person policy. Other relations. So whether you're engaged or whether you're a stranger living in the same house because y'all having a hard time financially, you know, living together for that, it's the same boat. So I do agree for those reasons and others. Another reason that I agree is let's look at it, guys. Um, when your other relation, I shouldn't be petty to that. When your
Do it. I like that
significant
other
other,
relations.
it sounds good. When
It's
your other
fun.
relation, when your other relation dies, you're not really
This
entitled because you're not next of
ain't
kin. You know,
none
there's
of
a
that.
lot that comes with. There's a lot of difference
Committed
between
relationship.
married and we just together. And this
Right.
is, guys, I don't care if y'all been together 20, 30 years and y'all ain't got married. If something happened to homeboy or homegirl and they're on life support, they're gonna go to that person's child or to that person's parent. They're not going or to their spouse, because you know a lot of them still be married to somebody else. That's why y'all ain't got married. That's real spouse still ain't got the same. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta put it out there so people don't know it. I'm just
They put
I
all
just have a good
business out
time.
there.
Boy, oh boy.
Just do.
If I could get paid to do this every day, I would. It would just be the time of my life. I see why Oprah did it 25 years. But she didn't cut up like I be cutting up. But if the person that's on life support, they're not gonna come to you. We've been together.
Mhm.
I can show you pictures from the 70s. We've been together since the 70s, but are y'all married?
It don't
We've
matter.
been together all this time, but are y'all married? We got the same bank account, but are y'all married? But we live in the same house for all these years, but are you married? So now I got to go to next of kin because you other relations. And so I got to go to next of real kin so that we can find out if we need to pull the plug or not. And that is one of the things that is just, it should open people's eyes to wait a minute. Oh, so I'm still single because I don't have a say legally. So I'm still single. So
And just because you had, and then the other thing she had, it was so funny. Just because you the baby mama or the baby daddy, you still single. Just because you got some kids, that don't mean nothing, sis. That mean your kids gonna get paid. You ain't, bruh. Your child gonna get paid. You ain't. You ain't getting none of that Social Security money if something
not
was
in
to
your
happen.
name.
And I think that's the biggest downfall that we, as especially in, it's every generation that does. It's every culture. I mean, but it's really, really bad in the USA. Like these folks just don't want to do nothing to benefit. How can you be? It's this lady. Now I gotta put it out there because I don't know who you are, but if you watching this podcast, I'm sorry, but I forgot who you is, so that's a good thing because I ain't bringing up your name. But was married to a man for a long time, and the Social Security is like a lot of money a month. Like she get paid. Like she ain't got the. Her main goal is I'm not finna remarry. For what? Why would I remarry? And he ain't bringing this. He ain't even bring. And it's sad when
Can
y'all
I ask
say
you
that.
something? Because I don't
Hold
know if
on,
this
let me
is
say
true.
that because it's a joke. It's sad that y'all say that. He ain't bringing nothing. He ain't bringing enough money. My dead husband bringing more money. He is. I had to say it. I had to get it out. Go ahead. Say what you can say. I had
So,
to get it
because
out.
I don't know, because I hadn't been in that situation. So, if they get remarried, do the Social Security get cut off?
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah. If I'm not mistaken, a lot of people. That's why they
Maybe
get
it's like a
these
state by
long
state
term.
thing.
Yeah, I'm not for sure though, but it may be. But a lot of people that I do know that have been in long term relationships and have not married is that has been just with somebody now, and that's the reason. Especially the ones that's up 50, 60 years old or whatever. Like you could have been with a person since heck, y'all could have had a whole child or whatever, but due to the fact you had somebody that went off to the army or was a veteran or something like that, and they die, and you end up, meeting somebody, you would not marry
Oh,
that
that is
person.
insane. I think that that law is insane because that means if we were to get, because I'm going to tell you, I probably shouldn't look at it this way, guys. I'm just going to be very upfront. But I've been looking at people and I've been like, man, you've been suffering in this marriage all this time. Because, I've literally told people, I really need you to get life insurance. I don't be playing with that thing. Especially if your spouse ain't, that benefit, they ain't really that good of a spouse. I'm gonna need you to get some life insurance and all that stuff. I'm gonna need you to make sure everything is set in place because God forbid you go through hell while they're alive and you ain't gonna get paid when they die. Should they die before you? We're not we're not excited about them dying. But you ain't gonna get paid
We
if
ain't.
they die. Um, but I didn't know that. I think that that is so insane that you can be married. I'm just thinking 40 years, wife died, and I can't go off and get remarried without this check getting cut off.
Mhm.
Mm, that needs to change. So now I'm thinking,
Cause
do
why?
they
I mean,
stay
because
a
you
widower?
why would you get the benefits of it? You didn't you done moved on.
Right. Well, I mean, why would you get the
That's
benefits
how
you
they
moved
look at
on?
it.
But
That's how the state look at it.
yeah, I mean, I see why, but at the same time, though, you punishing me because I found love again. I'm the type, I do believe if you've been married 20, 30, 40 years, especially like that 30, 40 mark, I just think when the person dies, you shouldn't get remarried. Now, I know y'all won't get mad at me, but there are some people who I've seen and I'm like, why are you getting remarried? What's, I want you to I want you to mourn. I'm sorry, guys. You've been
Man,
married
we
that
ain't even
long. I
finna get
just be
into that
wanting
subject.
y'all to mourn. People be getting remarried, but I be
Like,
happy for them because you should move on. I'm sure they talked about it. If I go before you, I don't want you to be miserable. I want you to move on. No, I'm gonna need you to 30
we ain't
years
even
and you
finna
found
discuss.
somebody else.
Hell, this generation, excuse the word that I just said, but they find you ain't even got to be married for three months, and they gonna find somebody right after you die. Let me not go there. Let's shut up, Chantel. The shape. That's the baddest in me right there. It's not the brown. I'm sorry,
She said
but
that's
yeah,
after
you.
Brown.
But I'm just saying in general, like you, we, mm, we can't. That ain't the conversation. That ain't the discussion. I'm having to talk myself out of it, and you ain't
My
helping.
God.
But yeah, like you cannot do that. And then not only that, when you aren't married, and like she said, and even on the TikTok video, she said, you the baby mama, whatever. Y'all start putting some insurance on these baby daddies and these baby mamas. You know what I'm saying?
Because
You know what
what's possible. I found that out in college, and my ministry shifted because it was primarily focused on the married folks, and I said, let me get these folks that ain't married too. Y'all better put some insurance on these
I'm saying? A
people.
significant other,
Uh, other relation.
other
Um,
relation.
but
But
I
yeah,
do know
cause
that people have like a fear of marriage, though.
yeah, you
Why
do
do you
have
think
a
that
lot.
that is?
I used to be like that. I used to be like that. I used to think that marriage was nothing but a sheet of paper. I used to feel like because I have seen so many people cheat in marriage. I think for me, I never seen the work ethic. Back when I was growing up, when grandma and them, they worked it out. They stayed together. They stayed together no matter what. The ins, out, you had outside kids, everything. They stayed together. But like in I'm gonna say my mom generation, they weren't going. Like they ain't staying. Bro, you cheating, you doing it, you done had a child across the street, you did this. I'm finna cut you off. I'm finna leave. So for me, it was like I never seen a positive, healthy marriage. Now my uncle, they
Who
always
was on
say,
the show? I already, of
yeah,
course, I
my
know who you're
uncle
talking about.
Larry and
Hey,
my uncle Steve, they set a foundation upon marriage. But
love.
I looked at how they was with their marriage, coming from a young adult, a young lady, as far as what they was bringing to the table. So if I didn't see that, mm, mm, mm. Not saying that you weren't good enough, but I just didn't feel comfortable. And so I just felt like it was a sheet of paper. You know, people cheat, people do this, and people do that. I wasn't about to go through that. Mm-mm. So when I was at, or when it became a conversation, I was like, nah. Mm-mm. And I'm gonna tell you, I was that dumb girl. I was that one. I was the. Mm, I
Oh,
was. That's how I told you. That's how unwed wife came about. Cause I literally a bank account, email address, business. I was that girl that connected all my stuff and his stuff. We connected together. And if the man would have died the day of tomorrow, I wouldn't have got nothing. So for me, the single, are you single? Yeah, you single until you married. Cause single ain't doing nothing for you.
so
Single
I have
ain't
a
gonna help
question.
you nothing. Well,
So you talk about how you had, and a lot of people do this. A lot of people have, they're not married, but they go ahead and they change the name on Facebook. Um, they change the
stupid,
name of the phone to wifey, hubby. They
stupid,
get joint bank accounts.
stupid,
They get mortgages together.
stupid.
They get mortgages together. Rent. I've seen so many horror stories about they get rent homes, and on the lease, both of the names are on it. Cars together. What else do they do? I'm trying to
Mm,
think of everything that people do together. It's like you intertwine your lives, and everything
mm.
is connected. How can doing that before marriage hurt? Because a lot of people would say, well, you do the same thing when you get married. Why I can't do it before we get married? How can that
Because
hurt and affect negatively?
it's certain things. Now, when I was single, it's certain things that it is some things that I wouldn't do with that mate that I said I never do. I'm gonna wait till I get married before I do these certain things or go this level because you know, coming from being single and being married, I can say one thing that I feel like I see why God said get married. I see why so many people it says get married because you can bring so much to the table for an individual that you're not married to that when you get married, your energy is low. It's like you needed to be saved in that area when really you should have never put your place in that situation to be saved. You should have been trying to apply the same pressure that this man is applying or this woman is applying, but you depleted because you done went through all this bull crap with the boyfriend or the girlfriend, and now you need healing in the area you shouldn't never need healing in. You caused your
So
own hurt.
that is so good. I never thought about it like that because I asked you that question because I didn't know. I mean, I knew that there were reasons. I just couldn't think of none. But what I'm thinking, that is so good. So when you are running a marathon, is what I saw when you were talking. You running a marathon and the marathon first started, you start sprinting. I mean, fast as you can. By the time it's time to get closer to the finish line, you worn out. So this is why you have to save that so that in the end, when you get to that finish line, you got that energy to go. That is so good because if you deplete yourself, and that's why a lot of people aren't asking. I
And
mean, I
then
might as
not
well say
only
it because
that,
what y'all going? Let me just go ahead and say this because what they gonna do? Whoop me? Um, so that's why a lot of
that
these
part, because we
people,
come.
men ain't asking y'all to marry because they saying, well, they put in so much work and so much energy now. What am I gonna get? It ain't
What
nothing
they
left for
say,
me
the
to
milk
get
in the
when we
cow.
get married.
It ain't nothing. What you done gave me everything. You
That
done
is,
gave
I
me
never
everything, and
thought of
that's
it
the
like
one
that.
thing. Yeah, and that's one of the things that, because even now, I have to check myself being married. When my husband wants certain things, I'm like, man, leave me alone, or uh, no, me being me is because no, I don't want to go that way. I don't want to do that, or I'm tired, or whatever. Or I want you to do this for me sometimes. But no, I done played wife for so long
With somebody else
with
who wasn't
somebody
your
else that I ain't
husband,
even with
and
that
you
probably
don't
ain't even
have it
thought,
in you,
look,
you
ain't
depleted
even
that
thought
with
twice,
somebody else, and now
ain't
you
even
ain't
thought
got it
twice
for your
about
husband.
me. Look,
Oh.
right? So it's like, when you single, act as single, move as single, do as single. Put some respect on your singleness, as far as what you want when you do get married. And that's I'm gonna tell anybody that. Now your accountability, your scale should be, because when you got single here, your next goal is to be Beyonce married. Or some people don't even be Beyonce. Some people be single married. Like we can get married the next day. But when you got, I'm telling y'all, I have witnessed this. I would never. I I want to cuss. It's so bad. I want to cuss my own stuff out. It's bad. I was stupid. And when a woman had said you the placeholder, uh, and a long term girlfriend for when I just you're a you're an unwedded placeholder. And it's sad because I'm telling y'all, when you get married, it's a whole different whole different playground. It ain't like it's nothing you can just get up and walk away from when you single. When you single, you can do that, no attachment. Even when you got kids, you may have kids, but you can still move around them. But when you married, no, it's too much come with it, because your girl be like, and the experiences that you have with the single person from the husband, you don't have no patience. That's why so many marriages breaking up, because you ain't got patience no more. You don't know how to work around nobody because you've been fighting this battle with this. You got this thing, you can't let him work through his issues because you'd have been with Root for so long, messing with him for all those years. She ain't got no patience to allow him to grow in the area that he's wicked. Because you
So I
want him to
think
come
we have to
like that.
come prepared. And because,
Said,
well, it's a whole another topic. Because to me, I don't, I think there's a limit. You
yeah.
shouldn't want somebody to come perfect, but at the same time, they shouldn't come broken. And now that's another topic because that's more of a preparing for marriage. I don't think enough people
Mhm.
prepare, and you get in these
Mm-mm.
marriages, and then you want to start healing while you're in the marriage.
Mhm.
And to me,
Mm.
that's too late.
Mhm.
I mean, it can still
Mhm.
happen, but to me, I think that's just too late. You were
And you
broken
cause struggles on your marriage.
on your
You
marriage,
cause
and
more
you stress
struggles.
out your spouse,
Mhm.
and this is stuff that should have been done. After when we get married, we shouldn't have to work on a lot of stuff. We shouldn't have to work on
Mhm.
you healing from your past. We shouldn't have to
Mhm.
start doing the work on you building your credit or establishing
Mhm.
credit. We shouldn't have to start working on you saving money. I think that these are things that should be done beforehand.
But
Um,
you done messed up your credit with the last person.
you know,
You didn't did
but
everything with them. You know.
yeah. So, but at the same time, though, you shouldn't expect them to come perfect. So, because I mean, you ain't perfect. Let's
Right.
just be honest.
Right.
And really and truly, I feel that if we learn the roles of these certain things, because some people may know how to be a good uh, other relation, but they might not know how to be the best spouse. So, is it that, and this is a real question, is it that some people feel like they have impatience and all that stuff. Like, man, you should be doing better. You should be when they get married because you perfected being a spouse when you
Yeah.
weren't really a spouse because you was doing something you probably had no business, and
Mhm.
they were perfecting themselves to
Mhm.
prepare to be your spouse. So now we can perfect this marriage together. But
Mhm.
instead, you feel like you got it all together as a spouse because of what you did with Boo Boo over here.
Mhm.
And now you think you ahead in the race, which you might be, but you really shouldn't be.
And see, and this is and to make an example out of it. It's like
Help it.
it it's like when a person have kids that's bringing kids to a person that don't have kids. You think the way you've been parented and the way you've been doing stuff is on point. So when you with a person that don't have kids and y'all have kids for the first time, you want to critique that person into, oh, this is the way it should be done. This is the way it should be done. No, your way probably been jacked up. before. So just because I'm a new mother, don't make you any better of a father. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask
Do I
you
make
this.
sense?
You are, and it brought up because before you said that, I was thinking, wait a minute, what does it say about the divorcee who's been married and then they marry somebody who's never been married? Should they be ahead? So you really brought that up in another scenario. So does that mean that you have to, what does that mean? Do you have to like de-educate, you think? Or
It's not de-educate.
or
I think let it learn.
adjust? There should be
Yeah, adjust.
flexibility.
Yeah, yeah.
And we should be adjusting together. Because
Mhm.
first of all,
Mhm.
I ain't saying
Yeah.
everybody is at fault when they get a divorce, but you divorced, you clearly ain't an expert. You know what I'm saying? You did something wrong.
And then
So we
sometimes
need to
people
grow
just get a
together.
divorce because they know they shouldn't have been married in the first place. I think that's just like, when we talked about, it's been a while, but we talked about last season about how many people was getting a divorce during COVID because they was had to be around each other. Don't nobody put that work in no more. I feel like if any marriage made it through COVID, you can make it through anything, but you got to be able to put in that work. If you don't want to put in that work, then it ain't gonna work. And so for
So
me,
what is putting in that work? Because to me, it's putting in that work saying you should never get divorced,
no, I'm
or
not. Well, I look. You know what? That's an iffy conversation with me because I feel like
because let me
if
say this,
you
I feel
shouldn't,
like there should be a lid or something, because to me, even when you were talking earlier about, like your grandparents who, or I think you just use an example, how they just worked through it all. But I'm thinking about all the toxic relationships and all the stuff, so many marriages I've seen. And
mm-hmm,
it's like, first of all, why y'all get married? First of all.
mm-hmm,
Secondly, why did you
mm-hmm,
stay so long?
mm-hmm,
And so some people might say, well, I'm going to stay to put in the work. But
mm-hmm.
how much work? Does that mean you got to put in the work until you die? Because let
No,
me say, the Bible does say you can get a divorce from that's adultery. Now, I know that people say that you're not supposed to divorce, but the Bible does. The only time I've seen it permitted is adultery.
adultery.
Um,
And so that there go your answer.
and if you get knocked upside your head, I ain't adding to the word. The Bible talk about that too. I'm just saying, I think the Lord will be okay.
I
Because
think that if as people as a whole, when you dealing with marriage and when you single, you need to really heal, grow, learn, and evaluate that person. This unequal yoke stuff is bad. It's serious out here. It's a serious issue. And like you say, how long do you supposed to put in work? Some people put in work 5 years. Some people just don't have the patience because it's like dealing with a child. You already got kids, and you mean to tell me I got to raise you too? Nah, boo. We can't do this too much longer. I ain't. You shouldn't even have the patience for it.
it's
But you do
incestuous.
have some people that God blesses them with an extended grace, and people stay around longer
Because
and to
I think
see
that they know they marry who they're supposed to marry. Because
right.
you can marry the wrong person, right?
But then too, and I think that some people, when they get married, and a lot of people get married because when we say unequally yoked, let me just say something on there right quick. When we say unequally yoked, and you single, you marry somebody, and you know that that person really ain't where they need to be, but you see the potential of where they can be. If you go in that marriage and you see that you have bit more expectations and you see more into them than they do in themselves, and they never rise to the occasion. Some people just don't want to because you know what you done did. You done became an enabler. You done enabled them to grow. So now they feel like they shouldn't have to grow. They should feel like they can just do whatever.
She go, y'all. There she go.
I mean, I'm just being real. So that's the single part. That's the part of being a single of healing. And you won't have no divorces as high as they is if you really just get to know a person, you know.
If you get to know a person, if you heal, and if you marry who you're supposed to marry.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, because you gonna know
yeah.
them. I feel like you gonna know them. You gonna feel that. God gonna show you.
And you get
You
married
gonna
for the
know.
right reason.
Yeah,
Some
if you
people get married because we got a baby on the way. That's not the right reason to get married, guys. Some
right.
people get married because, well, I committed to no sex before marriage, and that thing feel like it want to be thinking, and I'm gonna need to go ahead and put a ring on it so I can pop pop. You know what I'm saying? That's not a good reason to get married,
It's
guys.
not. It's really not.
Because they
Cause
got
that
money.
thing probably ain't gonna be by nothing when you get it. I'm just
Why
saying.
would you say that? Why would you say that over here?
I'm just saying. Let's just be real. That's why, and like I said before, I wish I would have waited for a lot of stuff that I did because I get irritated now. Sometimes, just me being me. I mean, I'll be like, dang, babe, I don't have the patience for that. But then I had the patience for the one that was 12 years. And here I am in year 5, 6, and you mean tell me you ain't got the patience, but you had patience for that. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't have the patience because I done gave that up. So I don't have that energy to wait. That process of waiting to see. I can see it manifesting, changing, but your girl be like, what we gonna
So
do?
let me ask you this, and this will be
Oh,
the
but
last question
hold
after you.
on. But this is what I do have. Okay, go on, ask your question because this right here finna go to a whole nother. We don't usually talk about this subject, but I'm gonna bring this subject up, and I don't care who like it and who not. If you're a Christian, if you're a man or woman of God, you got to deal with it one day. If you're married, whatever, we gonna discuss. I'm gonna say it. But go ahead, say what you gotta say.
I'm nervous.
Get nervous because I'm gonna say it.
So, so you were talking about a lot of people, and I do hear a lot of people say, "Well, marriage is nothing but a sheet of paper."
hmm
Marriage is nothing. So, what is marriage? If it's not just a sheet of paper, what is marriage?
Marriage is for me. Marriage is more of a connection. Marriage is more stability. Marriage is more uh being grounded with not only just you but another person. Growth process. It to me, marriage is a lot, man. I mean, I can't see myself, man. Just think if that dude would have died. You know what I'm saying? I dealt with my daughter's daddy death, and she ain't able to get nothing from his death. Not saying that I should be, but I feel like she should be able to get something, Social Security or whatever, due to the fact, but due to how he was, his lifestyle, my daughter ain't got nothing other than what she got my husband, me and my husband. But I'm just thinking, what was I thinking? What was coming to my brain? So marriage for me is not only the benefits of being married, but the benefits of my child or my kids, or it's a lot come with marriage that we just don't we don't
Pros
understand.
and cons. I think
It is.
pros
It's
and
pros and cons.
cons.
It is. But let me just say this:
Go ahead.
it's coming. That's the reason why some of y'all sex life is like it is. Y'all been hoeing around for so long, and when you get married, you got to do all these extracurricular activities for your sex life to be enjoyable. Because you done gave this man here every twerk, every pole session, every want to make love in a club dance, every Beyonce move, everything that you can do under the sun. So when you get married and your husband asking you to bag it up and do a twirl with it, you can't do it because you ain't got no Megan Thee Stallion knees no more because you been on them knees too long. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I got to put it out there. And the experience of it, that's why when people get married, they end up cheating because they want to, oh, well, sister so and so was doing this before I got married. And, when I was single, this I was getting it like this. I was getting it like this and this. So when you get married, you so experienced, you want your wife to do the same thing. Then hey y'all is taking application for a third person just to get you aroused in a situation. Let's just be real out here. Save yourself. Be single on purpose. Oh, Rich, I don't care. I had to put it out there because that's a subject we really don't talk about. But I just had it. When it comes to marriage, we got to be real about it because a lot of marriages is for what? Adultery. It's cheating. A lot of it is for that. If the Bible said, it had to be bad. These folks around here slinging them things, slinging that thing on around. And I'm saying because you do it so much. If you don't save yourself, it's a part of yourself that you should want to keep for your husband or your wife. You shouldn't be out here in these streets giving up them knees like you be giving them up. I'm just saying, Megan Thee Stallion told y'all. They even got a knee challenge on TikTok. You seen what? You seen it? They got a knee challenge. I'm just saying, we got to
The
be
people
mindful.
needed it. The people needed to hear it. And
Okay,
God knew who to send. Yes, He did.
okay.
He knew
Cause
who to send to say it. Because
you weren't gonna never say it, but I got
I
you.
wasn't going to
I
never
got you,
say it.
my brother.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
got But that's what a lot of marriages, when we single, you got to start. We got to start protecting ourselves, man. I mean, y'all got to start protecting yourself because I'm telling you, when you get married, your husband be want to do this and do that. You be like, no, my knee bad. No, my back hurting. Or no, that's because guess what? You've been doing it for so long. Shoot, tooted up all them years, and then you don't want to toot up for the man you done walked down the aisle with and got to die with, grow old with. You done did everything under the sun for them last folks. And I'm gonna say,
Oh,
folks, half of you don't know how to date, have one single experience, and then cut it off and be like, okay, Lord, I learned my lesson. I'm gonna wait on my husband. No, y'all got to have use your hand, your toes, and everybody else just to count these people that y'all done connected with. Then you got to fight off the spirit that you done joined together through a sexual encounter with these men and then want your husband to come here and save you or your wife to save you. No, save yourself. Don't do it. Okay, we gonna.
just when we thought it was over,
It's over.
a
But like the
second
woman,
wind came through.
that like the woman say, we got to stay single. You single until you marry. In
Amen.
in a justice system in the real world, like you said, you can't carry them on your W-2s on your income tax. You better start thinking about that.
Not
But
legally,
what
you can't.
and what's the name of it on the insurance?
Other relation.
Okay. So this the name is we gonna change that single until you're married. What we think? Let's change this topic to other relation. The other relation experience. What category are you falling in? Other relation.
Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This
Mm-hmm.
definitely went a wrap that I can confidently say none of us expected.
Mm-hmm.
But the
And
people
for
needed it. But the people,
and all the men and women of God, the pastors and everybody that watch the show, y'all.
I think that I think that we should go ahead and end because
I'm I'm I'm
something in me
sorry, but
wants
I
to
just wanted to.
say there's some of them need to hear too, because that's why they get in their pulpit scouring. Please don't get me started.
Okay,
Some of
okay,
them be out here in the pulpit, they still take
okay.
it to the office because they
Mm-hmm.
wives saying then because they so we really don't want to open that up.
Now we
I've
don't
been
want to open it up,
behaving
but
intentionally.
he let me.
But I
Today
just
it was
feel
my
that
shot.
it was
Today it
your
was
time.
my time. Yeah, it was my spotlight.
I just don't think that we have to apologize to them because some of them
They needed to. They needed to
they
hear that.
needed to. Oh yes.
And then you trying to counsel folks and counsel the marriage counsel. Yeah. Okay now.
But you traveling preacher got one every city you go to. You know, I've been hearing
Every
about
city.
these big time. This is why I don't watch a lot of preachers that y'all be like loving, and I be like, if only you knew. So, amen. So we just thank God for what Evangelist brought to the table today. Also, I just was behaving because she did mention something about bringing something to the table. You know, I don't be bringing nothing to the table. You know, I am the table, but I let her know that I am the table.
The table.
So I really hope that this reaches the people that it needs to reach. This is a video that it really needs to be said in the caption, watch to the end. Very unexpected. I don't even know where to go from there. So we're just going to go ahead and walk up, guys. Thank you, Shontal. Thank you, all of those who are listening, including other relations. When you call your insurance, I would really love it when you're able to give us a call and say they died and got married so I can move you from other relation to spouse. I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. But besides that, until then, heal, be delivered, be set free, and do something else. God bless you. Goodbye.
Bye.